now that I've been in the game so long, it's like I have a whole nother mission. And honestly, people aren't even supposed to be in this game this long. I feel like my class is here to show that rap does not have to age out. You can be fresh, you can be good, you can be relevant, you can be influential for as long as you're in it. You can't do this from a distance. You gotta be in the game to be in the game.
This is dope, man. So where we at right now? We're in the Cream.
We are in Cream in Old City, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Dope, dope. So you have 3 of these locations?
Yes.
2 in Virginia?
Yes.
1 in Philly?
Yes.
This is dope. So it's a boutique, high-end fashion mixed with street element type vibe?
Mixed with streetwear, I would say. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Push, what's up, my brother?
What's up, man?
I'm good, man. How you?
Really good, really good.
Yeah.
Glad you guys could make it.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
Thank you for the hospitality.
Appreciate you opening the doors.
Yeah. I didn't even know you had a clothing store.
Okay.
So it's dope to come here. I see Off-White, I see Rick Owens, I see Balenciaga, Bape. What inspired you to put this together, and what was the steps to actually, get these stores up and running?
Man, well, I feel like the beginning and the whole inspiration behind Cream, it started from friendships. And at this particular time, I would say about early 2000s, I had one friend who had just invested in a clothing store locally. That was Pharrell Williams. I had another friend who had opened a boutique and was, basically stocking it with any and everything that was hot, and everybody in the city knew about it. Whether the account was legitimate or not, he found his way to get everything that everybody wanted. And that was Brock. So for me, at this time, the math wasn't mathing for Pharrell at his store. And he didn't like the way the business was going.
That's in Virginia?
That's in Virginia. And Brock was, he was basically the competitor of that store. And he was the streets for, me and my friends. And basically, I connected the two in brands. Through Pharrell, we got the BBC account. And with that came the Bape account. And it basically was one of the first building blocks to grab the rest of the accounts that, now we're in Philly, in Old City today, with some of the brands you just named.
So you just took over the existing store?
What do you mean?
You said Brock?
Oh, yeah. Brock is my partner.
Oh. So
And yeah.
So y'all came together?
Yeah, we just came together. And with that, like I said, we just began to just, tag team and put our resources together, our relationships, and have the best store in the area.
Yeah, so talk about the role that fashion played in you and how hip hop kind of dictated your dreams in fashion, right?
Yeah, hip hop, I never even called it fashion. It wasn't fashion to me. It was just part of hip hop culture. And it was waking up and, seeing that magazine and seeing, oh man, Nas had on this type of leather, I need that. Raekwon had on this type of hoodie, I need that. Rakim had on this type of jean outfit or that type of sneaker. It wasn't until I got into the music game until I realized, wait a minute, this is more than just stepping outside and being fresh and competing with your homeboys on who could get the shoe first or the shirt first or whatever the case may be. The music industry really brought together the business of it and letting you know your influence and how your influence sort of, ran what was hot.
Yeah. So you said Pharrell didn't like the business of it, But there must have been something that you saw inside of it, right? So
Oh.
when you got into the space, what were the things that you saw? Like, I can make an improvement, I can do this, I have the time for that.
Well, yeah, I just think he just wasn't in, I just don't think he liked his business partners and how they ran business.
Okay.
For me, it was I was watching a friend of mine basically build a business based off his taste. And that was something that I always respected. I always respected Brock's taste. You know, he's always been very, before Twitter, before IG, it was always about, before hypebeast culture, it was just like, man, what's hot, that's hot. And however we would run across it. I was telling you guys earlier, man, I think I was learning to dress off of Yo MTV Raps at times. You know what I'm saying? But he would be a person that I could be like, yo, you seen these new sweatsuits and I don't even know what they called. And, you know, we could go back and forth and we just had that passion and that willingness to want to know and explore and find. And, you know, with that passion, I feel like that birthed like the standard for the stores.
So we talked off camera when you were talking about like different accounts, right? Because you see, like, it's almost like this is like a Neiman Marcus type of
Right.
quality that you have, and for the entrepreneurs that's coming up, people don't really think about that. They open the store, they're like, all right, I'm just gonna get everything. Like, it doesn't really work. You just can't go to Soho and just get garments of Off-White
Right.
and all these different things. So talk about that as far as establishing the relationships and getting the corporate accounts so you can actually have these high-end brands in your store.
Yeah, you know, it's a very political process. You know, people don't understand that, you know, a lot of times we've been told no. You know, Brock may go to the trade shows or go to the, you know, where all the brands are, go speak to him, and they tell him no 4 times, and he'd be like, yo, I think I need you to walk in here with me. You know, and you know, and even then, that's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee. Some brands don't want to be next to other brands. Brand A may think they're better than brand B and they don't need to be in the same store as. These are all the politics of the game. You also have competition with stores. Brand A may have a relationship with a store in the area. And, you know, regardless of how much money you have or what it is, they're not going to break that relationship on a new store that they really don't know about that relationship. You have to show and prove. Sometimes you got to tough it out. You got to wait your turn. There is no just walking in with your influence or your money and saying, I want to buy that, and it's just that. It doesn't work like that.
Is it a thing of where they give you a certain amount, see how you do, and then they front you some more?
No. That's another part of the politics too. Brand A may sell you their products, and you know, Brand A may have the hottest sneaker on the market, so you're like, yeah, we got the sneaker. They may also give you $30,000 worth of trash tees. You know,
See what you can do with this.
so it's like, you know, oh, you want this new sneaker that's gonna blow out. You know what?
This.
You gotta take this too, and you know that may be the off-brand sweatpants or the whatever product they're trying to get rid of.
The new fleece.
Yeah, yeah, the new no logo fleece that means nothing to absolutely nobody.
So we see a lot of brands. You mentioned a few. BBC, you started the first relationship with. We see Off-White. I see Bape, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I don't see, and maybe I don't know if that interests you, is you having your own brand. Because I've seen you collaborate with other brands.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a point in time when you thought, I'm going to create my own line of clothing?
Yeah, no, you know, I actually had my own line of clothing for 10 years called Play Clothes.
Play clothes, yes.
Yeah, Play Clothes. And again, Cream was one of the hubs that really major account for us. Like we held it down for 10 years. I personally decided to stop Play Clothes because it was just a changing of everything fashion-wise for me, music and fashion. This was right when I got into, right around the good music time for me. So I like to be a part of things that I can fully dive into myself. My growth, I felt like I needed a whole new rebrand, a whole new growth. And we just, we just decided, me and my partners decided to part ways. It was good. But, we had a good run, 10 years. I felt that was good.
How do you feel about fashion embracing hip hop? Because early it was like the Ralph Lauren's and the Tommy Hilfigers and different things of that nature. But now it has evolved to the highest levels of fashion. And you see in Paris Fashion Week and Milan Fashion Week, you see hip hop artists. And that wasn't always the case. So do you think that is done like as a trendy thing, or do you think this is real solid relationships and they really respect the culture?
Well, I feel like you have to make them respect the culture. And for me, making them respect the culture is making it a business. You can admire me putting your brand in my song, and see me in passing and tell me, hey, I'm the, Midwest rep for brand X. And I heard your lyrics and thank you. That doesn't do much for me. Like, the influence of hip hop is so massive. It dictates everything that's hot. It dictates everything that's cool. It dictates, it tells the kids what to buy. It tells the parents what to buy. It moves culture. So we need to treat it like a business. And that's how you show, your gratitude to me from a brand standpoint. That's the only way to show gratitude to me.
I wonder, when you say that, does it have to be directly to you, or could be something that's sparked by your influence? Because I'm thinking of the line when you're like, she's calling La Von Lanvin.
Right.
And then I see Future.
Right.
Now, right, so like, that could have been a direct correlation to the influence that you had.
I think, congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats to Future on that. And I feel like, I think that's what I'm saying. It's not being personally.
Right.
I want to see it for whoever is in these positions. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets their chance. Everybody gets their shot. But it's not free. It's not free.
So, one brand that you've worked with, Adidas.
Yes.
Classic shoe.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Very classic.
Yeah.
Talk about that relationship, that partnership. How did it come about, and where does it stand now?
Man, a lot of people don't know that, I was actually the second artist at Adidas. Tiana Taylor being the first one. And then I came. Adidas, me and Adidas had a partnership. They basically reached out because of my Instagram at the time. They were like, man, you get like crazy engagement and it's always about, shoes and sneakers and so on and so forth. And they were really in tune. That has turned into I told y'all I'm terrible with time. Kevin, please tell me, how long have I been with Adidas, man?
Is it 2012?
Probably earlier than that. 2012, they start the Yeezy run.
Okay, I don't know.
Years back.
But yeah, it's a lot. Tens of years. But yeah, so Adidas was just very tapped in, and the partnerships, they've always been a part of the album rollouts. They've been very instrumental and helpful in a lot of the social activations that I've done locally at home. They've just been a really, really good partner. Really good partner.
How do you go about that, right? Finding the right brand to partner with, because I'm sure you get approached. Some things may not match, but some things may be aligned. When you presented with opportunities, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for what is synonymous with myself. What's synonymous with Pusha T, what's synonymous with Terrence Thornton. Just what is synonymous, because when you align with the brand, it's only work when you don't do it for real. When you don't live it for real, then it's work. Then it becomes work. It's like, it's tough. You're making it up. So it's like, what anything that I do organically, it's gonna be easy, and you're gonna get the best of me.
So as far as like you said that they did activations with you and stuff, is that something that's in the contract originally, or that's just based off of a relationship? Like, hey, I need you guys. Can you help out? I'm about to roll an album out. When it's just kind of like a handshake type deal.
Adidas ain't a handshake.
I mean, as far as like, I'm sure you have agreements, but then it's like other stuff that they might.
Well, they have ask. Yeah, Adidas has ask. Sometimes it's product. Sometimes it's pulling up to promote whatever they have going on. Maybe they're hosting the Olympics this year and they want an artist to perform. You know, it's also it comes to a point where I can just call them and ask, like, yo, I want to give away shoes to the kids. What's up? What we got? Nobody tells you no for things like that.
How does that work? Right. We see how athletes get their deal structured. James Harden might get a 10-year deal for $250 million. Damian Lillard. How does that work when it's an artist? Are you negotiating every 2 years, every 5 years? How does it structure?
My manager would tell you that I usually do 1-year deals because I always overperform. It's usually 1, 2, maybe even 3-year deals, depending on the money and what they're gonna guarantee.
So previously, sneaker contracts and sneaker relationships were only for athletes.
Yes.
For the most part, right?
Yes.
And now we see that change where we see a lot of musicians, working with different sneaker brands. Where do you see that going in the future? Do you see that even more artists, or do you think that it might get a little saturated after a while?
No, I think more artists will get a shot, but you will only get a shot if you display or the brands see that you have that level of influence. And this isn't about the most record sales. This ain't about the most record sales. This is about like
Cult following.
Yeah, cult following, and how strong your following is. What do those kids? What does your concert look like? What do the kids look like in your concert? Like I can tell you, I can damn near sit here and tell you what every kid is gonna have on in my concert. I know what they have on. I know their clothes. I know what resonates to them. Like when I'm rhyming on stage and they're saying it back to me, I can see everything. But that person is into this. They're into the Pusha T world. And that's, a multitude of things. But when it comes to fashion, it's, high-end streetwear, high-end luxury brands, making the connections and comparisons between the two, stunting on whoever, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's about. And they have fun with that.
Because they don't always translate. You brought up a good point. It's like some of the biggest stars in the world, like J. Cole, obviously one of the greatest rappers of all time. And he's going to go platinum whenever he comes out with music. But he doesn't have like a cultural connection to what he wears, right?
Right.
Where A$AP Rocky, I don't know how many records he's going to sell, not as much as J. Cole, but if he puts something out,
man, he put it on.
It's selling out the first
Rocky
day.
put it on.
It's gone.
It's gone.
But that's important for artists, because sometimes you might get discouraged where you might not be commercially successful. But it doesn't mean that everybody's success is different. Like you can have more success in a different lane than somebody else who's more successful than you in music.
1,000%. And
okay.
no, I was just agreeing with you 1,000%. And it's artists are very much so fulfilled, even not selling the most, but being able to see what their influence does in the culture. That is super fulfilling.
Yeah, that cultural impact is important. And I'm glad you brought that up, because you see that, right? J Balvin puts out a Nike, but Bad Bunny puts out an Adidas. And I think even from an Adidas standpoint, they wanted to have that cultural impact that your shoe had.
Right.
Right. Because I remember not being able to get your shoe.
Right.
And being able to get Bad Bunny's when I wanted it. So it's a different cultural impact. From a creative standpoint, is that something that you're still looking to do? Put out more of the classic shoes that you've had already, or are we shying away from that?
No, I'm actually creating my own silhouette today, like right now. So we've been teasing it. We've been teasing certain things, and Fashion Week. You might have seen Thorn branded on Adidas. A couple of the publications picked it up. But But yeah, I think that's the next step for me, you know, having my own silhouette.
So you're a renaissance man. You music, we just talk about fashion. Now you're talking about something completely different. So the medical field.
Ah, man.
This is interesting.
This is my favorite business.
Let's talk about it.
My favorite.
I'm
This
sure
is my favorite business,
might come
man.
as a
I'm
surprise.
gonna give y'all the super, super, super ill story. So I have a friend, right? You notice all my businesses come with friendship. That's all.
But that's important.
common theme.
Yeah, you know, I mean, passion and friendship. It don't just work with just one of them. Yeah, so I have this friend, man. Me and him were like super, super tight. And man, he ended up, you know, having an unfortunate run-in with the law. And he goes to jail for a little while. And you know, he comes out, and he, like, me and him, like, he was such a trustworthy person before he went to jail. It was like, I missed him so much. So he comes out, and, you know, I'm just like, man, you know, I'm glad you're home, but, like, what's up? Like, what are we doing? And he was like, man, you know, I've been researching medical transportation. And he was like, yo, you know, basically, we would get these vans, and we would put them with wheelchair lifts, and we'd go pick up, you know, people who, you know, need rides, or, you know, people who, you know, elderly, handicapped, whatever. I was like, really? I was like, you know, and you know, he's my man. So he was like, yo, I'm telling you, that's what I want to do. I'm like, you know, all right, cool. So we get in the car, I go buy 2 vans. Right? And I'm just like, here, it's 2 vans.
We in it.
Let's figure it out. We'll figure out the business or whatever the case may be. Man, that business is like 25 vans strong, running through the whole 7 cities. It's called Caring Hands Medical Transportation.
Caring Hands?
Caring Hands Medical Transportation. It has helped my mother. It has helped, you know, sick cousins, family members, friends. It is, man, I've built so many great relationships with so many people behind this business. And, you know, I really, like, for those who know me, like, I really only like very, you know, I like children, and I like old people. I don't really like people in the middle, right? Like, I don't get along with a lot of people of the same, right?
Innocence and innocence.
Right,
At a certain level.
Bang, right? Man, it is like it has been the most fulfilling business. I've, like, you know, my man, he's out, he's running it, you know, his kids are going to college off of it. It's like,
So y'all still partners?
oh, still to this day.
He runs like the day-to-day operation.
Day to day, don't miss a beat. Like, those are our arguments. Our arguments is that he doesn't, like, take care of himself enough. And, you know, I have to, like, call him and, like, you know, call his wife and say, hey, listen, you know, I know that he's running crazy, but this has nothing to do with me. This is not what I'm telling him to do. Like, you know, like, and I'll be like, bro, you gotta take care of yourself. Like, come on, like, rest. He's just that great of a guy. Just that great of a guy. But that business is amazing. Like I said, basically, you run routes all day. Your vans run routes all day and just pick people up. You take them to methadone clinics. You take them, you know, you may take them, you know, you have private trips. You may take somebody to the store, usually elderly people. You get accounts with different
Insurance providers?
Yeah, insurance providers and nursing homes and
So
things
say
like
nursing
that.
hospitals.
So it's just super fulfilling about it, knowing that it's like there is absolutely nothing bad being done in this business. Like, it's just like it is 1,000% for the good of just everybody in America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a need-based business. So
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said you started off with the 2 vans and you got to 25. How is scaling? Because there's certain metrics that I'm sure you have to meet, certain data that you have to. How was that?
Yeah, it was, you know, the learning curve was crazy, because you're thinking, you know, me, like, oh, what? This is going good? Buy 5 more. Buy 6 more.
Throw some money at it.
Right? Throwing. but then we're not like accounting for just all of the insurance and the, which it makes it, but you know, when you're doing it so fast, you're not scaling. You just, like you said, you're just throwing money at it and letting all those things pile up. So sometimes you have to sit back and be like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's create new goals and, you know, look at the money bill, create new goals and be like, okay, we'll stay right here for a little bit. Then we'll raise it up or kick it up. Or then, not only that, the insurance providers or the companies that give you some of these loads or whatever, they'll be like, yo, we have a need for, we have a need for you to go to Richmond, which is, you know, outside of your area, and we need like a lot of vans. So I'll be like, oh, okay, well, I will buy 7 vans for up there, but like let's renegotiate, you know, like, you know, and everything that comes with that. So it's like, that's how it works better. You have to scale it, but you have to like also negotiate these numbers and these trips and your drivers and everything. It's a lot, but again, the reward of knowing that you're helping people.
So there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
That's operating in Virginia.
Yeah.
2 cream stores in Virginia, 1 outside of Philly.
Yes.
Has scaling outside of the state of Virginia for the medical business ever come to the forefront of the vision board?
It hasn't. It hasn't. I mean, you know what? There was a need, and we were reached out to step into that DMV, Northern Virginia area. We don't have the manpower to do it, and I'm not. You know, my partner would be greedy and go for it, but I know it would.
It's important to know.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? He would.
Yeah.
But
right now,
I just know he's overwhelmed as it is. So it's just like, you know, and he's not gonna say it, and he gonna try it, and he's that type of hustler. Like he's like, he gonna try it.
The crazy thing about this is that healthcare is the biggest business in America. A lot of people don't know that. By far, it's not even close. And we actually got educated on this business a few years ago. We had a friend in Atlanta. We have a friend in Atlanta and he was a guy. He was a guy, like a lot of our friends, like, you know, they're on social media. Okay. So everybody got nice cars, stuff like that. But he was interesting to me because he had like 2,000 Instagram followers, but he had a Lamborghini. So instantly I'm like, hold up, what's the correlate? Like, what do you do? And he's like, yo, I do these medical supplies and I do a medical transportation. And I'm like, I never heard of that before. I thought it was just an ambulance that takes people. I didn't know it was private companies that could take people to dialysis or special needs kids to the situations. So he's educating, and then we actually started a company. We haven't got it off the ground yet. We haven't had energy to actually, but maybe now after this conversation, we'll actually refocus on that. But we went through the paperwork. Okay. You got to do like paperwork and stuff like that.
Take a course.
And we actually, so we have the LLC set up. Okay. EYL Health.
That's a fact.
Oh, so that's crazy.
Those who are listening.
That's nuts. That's nuts. And listen, you know what? I anytime you guys want to sit down and talk to my man Riddell, like, if you know, he can give you the ins and outs of like the ins and outs, bro.
So like, how is that for you? Because that's one of these businesses that, like I said, nobody's thinking about. Yeah. Especially for a rap artist, they probably would. That's the last business that they think that you would be involved in. So, how important is that for you to actually even communicate that for just your peers, right, and just other people to know, like, you could do other stuff in this world outside of just the glitz and glamour, and it's actually probably more profitable than the glitz and the glamour.
It's so profitable. Like it really is, and I think that's a message that needs to get out there to people. You know, and not just in the sense of the money. It's just like
doing good.
Doing good, man. Like doing good. It like really. It does something for you. It does something to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just to know that you've helped people in such a way. People need to understand that, like, man, it's not all about rapping or balling or whatever. And you can ball without doing that. And I'm talking about, you know, you can ball. You can ball for real.
Real ball.
outside of actually balling and outside of actually rapping and, anything else that, people associate with, the glitz and the glamour. It's real businesses out here, that you can make real money and really just, be fulfilled doing it.
Yeah, we just met with Magic Johnson. Well, we saw him speak, and he said something to the effects of, you can do well and do good at the same time.
Yeah.
So that fulfillment you're talking about in this space, how does it compare to what you're known for when you're putting out music and there's a certain level of fulfillment when people see you? That song changed my life, as opposed to where this service is changing my life.
I appreciate both. There's a kid in me that loves rap to the core. Like, that's just like my whole DNA, right? And now that I've been in the game so long, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I have a whole nother mission, a whole nother marathon that I'm running now. Cause I've been in this game this long, and honestly, people aren't even supposed to be in this game this long. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like my class is here to show that rap does not have to age out. You can be fresh, you can be good, you can be relevant, you can be influential for as long as you're in it, as long as you stay in it, though. You can't do this from a distance. You got to be in the game to be in the game. I don't reminisce much. I don't even listen to my old albums. I don't. I'm making new ones. There will be a day where that's why I'm not good with time. I keep saying that, but I'm not. That's because I feel like I'm running a race. Like, I'm really running a race. I'm really out here trying to show that, 50 years of hip hop is like, we made it, but we're gonna be here. Like, my dad was telling me that, man, boy, that stuff ain't gonna be here. These raps and all this, that ain't gonna last. This crazy music, But it's like, we got a point to prove. And I feel like my particular class is the provers of that point specifically. It's like everybody who is my age, like, yo, you can be hot in this and good and competitive with whatever's out. New, young, old, whatever. Grammy nominated twice past 5 years. Like, whatever, like, and it's heat. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I want to show that this genre is just as viable as any other genre as it ages.
No, that's ill that you said that. You don't listen to your own music. That's like me. I never have pictures in my house because I grew up in a house where, my mom had a million pictures. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like you said, I don't want to go backwards. Mm-hmm. I want to move forward. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like if I'm looking at too many pictures, it's going to capture me in that moment of time and hinder what I'm looking forward to.
For sure.
But let me ask you this, because we spoke with Ross before, and he said that, as far as his friends, he was like, how he looks at friends and family is that he's not going to give anybody money, but he will give them an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And with that opportunity, it's even better because now you're actually able to make money. Like, giving somebody money is not sustainable.
Right.
It put them in a position where they can make money. Now that's beneficial for not only them, but to you as well if you can partner. So it sounds like you're doing this with your friends. So people always say, like, be careful doing business with friends. You had success in doing business with friends. So
right.
What's your formula and how have you been able to navigate personal friendships and business?
Well, I think everybody involved just has to be passionate, and you have to be able to, both of you have to be able to, like, understand that this is the mission, and as long as we're on this mission, we're gonna see it through. I don't mind losing with my friends. I win a lot with my friends, but I lose with them too. It's fine. Like, it happens. But you have to have that mindset. And I don't mind losing as long as we both are fighting to the death. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. Like, I gamble, I've thrown away tons of money on a lot of, you know what I'm saying? I've a lot of money. But for me, it's the whole idea of going into it with people that you care about, and you both know, y'all both care about each other, and you both are passionate about what it is that you're trying to reach, and knowing that we all giving it our all. Now, you know, like I said, I've won a lot and we've lost a lot too. But, you know, I don't feel any way about the losses. It's fine.
Do the losses affect the relationship?
Never.
Because we've gone into business with friends, and like you said,
Yeah.
all of them don't work.
Yeah.
The fact that this one works is great because everybody can see and there's an impact that's there. But what are some of those ventures where it didn't work, and when you look back at it, what were the key factors that deterred it from actually being successful?
You know, I feel like with the music industry, right, there are a lot of different opportunities that people are afforded. You know, I'm the artist. I afford people a lot of different opportunities within this game. A lot of times people look at the perks and they look at the things that they can gain before they look at the work. And that's a problem. Like, you know, you have to be in this game with people who understand the work and the work that must be put in and the work it takes to, like, taking me to the next level and taking whatever it is that, whatever facet of the game is that they're a part of to the next level to make me shine. A lot of times people don't, you know, they see what they want. And mind you, it's a lot of fast money that comes in this game. So, you know, sometimes you get the money, you ain't put in half the work. But it's not always gonna keep working like that. You know what I'm saying? When I see that affects the friendship. That could affect the friendship. But again, that's not a passionate person. That's not a person who's passionate about the mission.
Yeah. I wonder at what point, because the fast money is something that happens, especially as artists.
Yeah.
And you said that you've blown off a lot of money.
Yeah.
At what point did structure come in when it comes to financing money, or discipline come in?
Oh, it's always, structure and discipline with money has always been my thing.
Well, I feel like that's your past, though, right?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You
like, man.
that
like,
wouldn't,
yeah.
that wouldn't before.
I ain't never owed nobody.
Same principles.
Today, nobody. Ever.
In life.
In life. You know, listen, if I did, I paid.
Yeah.
They understand. We all, like, my face card is great. Like,
Straight like that.
straight
Jack.
like that, like, for real. And again, you know, that has a lot to do with, you know, sometimes being in business with your friends. But I never took that for granted. Like, everything I've ever done involving money was always about structure and being straight and being able to, you know, being able to I'm trying to put this properly. Being able to, for people to know that, like, nah, he's good. Like, he's honorable and he's respectful to everybody. And I look at us as a whole in whatever we're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about me. It's about, you know, everybody.
So let's talk about this. I've heard this before. I would like to get your take on it. Maybe explain a little bit more in depth. This McDonald's situation.
Yeah.
So you wrote a song with Justin Timberlake, I believe.
And my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both you guys.
Yeah.
With Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
And then McDonald's purchased a song for him for $6 million.
I don't know if they purchased it from him for $6 million. I don't know how that worked on his side.
Okay.
We were asked to write a jingle, a rap. Actually, the rap's even on YouTube, I think. But we were asked to write a rap. We were incorporating, you know, I'm loving it. It was repetitive in the raps, whatever.
You knew you was writing it for McDonald's? Or?
Yes, for McDonald's.
And so it was with the intention it was going to be a commercial?
Yes,
Okay.
with the intention it was going to be, you know, a campaign.
Yeah.
They were going to run it for 6 months, whatever. So, you know, probably, I forget what the number, maybe $1 million. Me and my brother split, something like that. Steve Stout brought it, you know, thanks to Steve. And we did it. And that was the theme, that what ended up being the theme for the next 20 years. Yeah, and it was a one and done. That was the most, you know, I tell people like, man, this
you got paid one time.
One time, right?
Yeah.
Got paid one time. You know, young in the game. Oh man, what? 500 for what? Come on.
500 for a verse?
What? A verse?
Sign me
a
up.
verse about McDonald's?
Sign me
what?
up.
Too easy.
Come on. You know. So, I tell people like, you know, young in the game. You know, one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. The flip side is that, you know, fast forward, my manager was always getting me to do vocals on EDM tracks. And one of them happened to be a song with Skrillex, which Arby's ended up using that song, and I own 40% of that one. Learning experience, you know.
So what would you have, you could have explained what you would have done differently. You would have, have
Oh,
publishing?
I would have owned the publishing on the McDonald's one.
So that's like it's like commercial. It's like the same as if it was a regular musical song.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody has the publishing, somebody has the masters.
Right.
So every time that plays, every country it plays in, that's you get a percentage.
Come on, shoot me. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
We don't think about the past.
We don't think about the past.
Remember the time thing?
Yeah. You know.
So the Arby's, obviously you go in with the advantage of knowing that.
Yeah,
And
for sure. And so we structured the deal differently.
Yeah. How did they view it, right? Because I'm sure the Arby side, right? Because if you're coming into it, you know this knowledge. They probably thinking that maybe he's another guy, another artist. We're trying to get the same deal.
Well, no, that is what that deal gets made in making the song. It wasn't an Arby song first.
Oh, got you.
So at the time, my manager Stephen Victor, he was really smart for this. He knew that that commercials were looking for EDM, up-tempo, just that type of driving energy in commercials, right? And those artists were looking for rappers to, nobody really wanted to rap over those beats. So he was like, yo, listen, we need to like sort of corner this real quick. Just trust me. And he would send me these songs and I'd be like, man, I don't want to do the song, bro. Like, leave me alone. And he'd be like, no, listen, trust. He'd be like, we're doing something different, please. Just don't argue with me. Just do the records. I do the records and I'm doing them and and then like, I'm seeing the records be synced in different, just different areas, different capacities, movies, the trailer of a movie is like, the trailer of a movie is always what? That driving, pulsing, but whether you hear my vocals on it or not, that's my song. Yeah, that's whatever we negotiate. And that was the thing, because rappers wouldn't do those records, he was really aggressive with we need 50 of that. We need 40 of that. I need 40% of that.
You're not going to find somebody else to do it.
I need it. And you're not going to get him? We need it. Keep it up front. Don't worry about it. Just give me that. And it just turned into a business. And then Arby's came and used that song.
Got you.
And they used I think it's like a guitar strum on the song. My vocal isn't even on it at all, on the commercial. At all.
But you still get paid.
It's mine. It's mine.
So we hear a lot about publishing lately. Puff gave the artists back their publishing. What's more important, publishing or masters? Because you could own your masters and not have publishing, right? And vice versa?
Yeah, I think to own, no, you can, your publishing is you. Like you.
That's the composition of the song.
Yeah, that's,
and the
you
masters
wrote
is
that.
like the ownership of.
That is the ownership.
Okay.
So, if you're in a situation where you can actually own your masters, you should definitely get into that. I mean, I feel like everybody should own their publishing. Like if you you're writing it, you're doing it. Like that, don't give that away.
You can own your publishing without owning your masters.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like a catch. It depends on what side of the table you're sitting on.
Right.
Like
That's my next question.
If you're a record label,
because now you're a label owner, right?
Yeah,
So.
label owner, and you putting in all this money and so on and so forth and taking the risk. You may look at it as, man, I need to, pad my bet the best way I can. I've had very successful managers who ran labels, independent labels. Tony Draper was from Suave House. Mm-hmm. He gave me the flip side of
the owner's perspective.
The owner's perspective. Whereas, if I was just out here an artist, and if I was just out here as an artist, and listening to the stories of everybody, I may just be on that type of time. But I do know both sides, and I do understand both sides.
So we're moving into a space where publishing and masters is still a conversation, but artificial intelligence is a conversation as well.
Yeah.
And so there might be a point where there's somebody or something that's created your voice, which to this day can't really be copyrighted. The melody can be.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
Man, I think it's cheap, and I don't like it. I'm not into, like, if there's a song and somebody's saying something great, I want to know who that person is. I want to know about that individual. I want to know that it's real. I'm not really into the whole idea of somebody mimicking something that I'm doing or somebody who's dead. I've heard a couple of these things.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah, man, don't cheapen the legacy. Don't cheapen the legacy like that. So I'm not into it, no.
Well, one more last question about this Arby's thing. What made you do this record against McDonald's? It's actually a good record.
Yeah. So
what inspired that?
So listen. So knowing the story, because I've always been very open and honest about how that was a very big mistake. I go talk at colleges and all type of stuff, and it comes up. So they had somebody who was on their marketing team who was very tapped in, who was like, man, this is what we should do, and he brought the idea of a diss record, so on and so forth. They shoot him away, 2-3 times. Like, no, I'm telling you, this ain't it. Get out of here.
The higher ups at Arby.
Yeah, the higher ups. Man, I don't know, what made them change their mind or, how persistent he was. But he came up with the idea, and it was a total success. Total success. I mean, man, I don't even have the stats, but the stats on the impressions, everything, it was like out of this world.
Trending.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was incredible. They were calling like, man, we could not have paid for this level of marketing in no way, shape, or form. Like, we could have never paid for this. But, just somebody who's tapped in, man, tapped into the culture, tapped into hip hop, tapped into the culture of hip hop, knowing what I mean to battle in at this particular time, and just everything that was going on surrounding me, knowing the history of me with the other franchise, their own issues that they, not even an issue, but their own competition. You know what I'm saying? So
was that the first ever battle rap against a corporation?
Yep, for me.
And I'm just saying, just anybody.
Oh, in general, I don't remember anything.
I know people have diss companies and raps, but I don't know any
yeah.
song dedicated to.
Nah, but and I look at these type of opportunities as again, look at it. We're celebrating the 50 years. Like, people saying we weren't going to be here this long. People not knowing how viable hip hop is. These are all things that, I'm checking off boxes, man. I'm checking off boxes not for myself though, just for the genre and for the subgenre of like street hip hop. Like, you know how long I've heard like my content? Yeah, man, your content, you gotta change your content. You gotta do this. You gotta, it's like, every time I hear that, I'm just like,
Does that ever affect you though?
no, hell no.
You
You never budged on it.
Never.
Well, you never. I mean,
But
obviously,
never.
never budged on it.
When?
No, but I'm just saying sometimes when you hear something, subconsciously you start to.
No.
No?
I tell everybody they're wrong. And the ones who told me this before, they come back and be like, I was wrong. And, you know, and that's what it is. Like, they're you know, it's, you know, this to me and what it is that I do in music is the most credible. It comes from the purest place. This is hip hop started in the street. This is what this is. Yeah. And so I don't think you can censor the content of it.
Is it more gratifying having this happen at the, I guess, not the later, at this point in your career, right?
Yeah.
To see the last two albums be Grammy nominated with all the talk with, oh, he needs to change his content, but no, it's being appreciated and acknowledged at a different level at this point.
1000%. It's so good to you know, to be able to be competitive with, you know, through different eras. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been through a few different eras.
He was on the lunch table with it.
Yeah, like, come on. It's been different eras, different trends, different fads, a lot of which I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's crazy. Like, I love, you know, hearing some of the music that I'm up against. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's, or the trends that I'll never do. I'm like, damn, man, you know, it's not me, but I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? But it's good for me to see that, you know what, It's Almost Dry can still stand next to that. Or, you know, Daytona can still stand next to that. Yeah. Oh, Daytona.
Oh,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
So you started your own label.
Yes.
So talk about that.
I started Airwave Music Group. It's based in Virginia. It is basically, I am trying to find breakout artists from the area, but at the same time, create the infrastructure so that those artists can like understand and understand what fanfare and stardom is locally.
In Virginia.
Yeah, locally.
Without having to go to New York or LA.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the one thing that all of us, when you talk about this, the talent pool that comes out of Virginia, whether it's Clips, whether it's Pharrell, Missy, Timbaland, you know, Trey, Songs, Chris Brown, all the producers you can name from Knots to Bink to, you know, everybody, we all had to leave. You know, we all had to leave. You never could, you know, I sit back and I watch these artists in different regions, and they have, you know, they have these
like
these,
Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
Like their own
Houston
sound and
Memphis. They have their own sound, they have their own infrastructure, but they even come into the game with a story, like, you know, and that story permeates through different cities or whatever, and we never get to have that because we don't get to build out that. You know, you never hear about he turned down the deal. You know, he was already getting 10,000 shows because he was so lit, you know, in his region or whatever the case may be. We haven't really built that infrastructure to build that. So more importantly, outside of the artist side of the label, that's my main goal. Like if I can do that and cancel the label, as long as that infrastructure is built, we've done something. We've done something to give to the next ones coming up.
So is that like kind of the vision to create events around that? So I know like Pharrell has his event, I know you're doing the block parties. Mm-hmm. Rather than going somewhere, this becomes a place.
Right.
It's almost like in Jamaica where it's a sound clash.
Yeah.
Everybody comes and every year the best artists are gonna come and they're gonna create historic moments at that sound clash.
Right.
Is that the vision?
Right. Well, you know, when you mention something in the water and you mention the block parties and things like that, you know, people come in from all over and they need to leave with something from the area. They need to, like how I would, you know, I used to go to wherever, Atlanta, whatever, and I can go to Atlanta, I can stay for a weekend, I can go outside, clubs, parties, whatever the case may be. When I go back to Virginia, I can tell you like, oh man, yo, this record was ringing off out there.
Right.
Or this artist he was going crazy. Like he was pulling up you know, I could go back with those stories. You know, we just haven't established. We now have those events, but you know, it's bigger than the events. It's the whole infrastructure that has to be built.
So what does the future look like for you? You got the medical business, you got the clothing business, you got the music popping off. Like, what's in your plans for next year and the years to come? How do you see yourself growing?
I would say, you know, on the retail side, there will be a 3-floor Cream in Virginia Beach. That now that you know, we have all of the brands and, you know, just so many that we can bring all of that energy back to our hometown, and you know, give people that shopping experience. Musically, man, I'm touring. You know what I'm doing. I'm touring. I'm writing these verses. We getting busy. Things are at stake. The world is watching. You know, I'm super happy and proud of everything that's been going on as of late. Again, we're back to the notion of working with my friends. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? In any capacity, you know, whether we talking Brock here at Cream, whether we talking Pharrell and LV, you know, working with them, seeing them perform at the highest level, reaching goals, breaking the goals, breaking the ceiling, and just staying competitive, man. Like, this is what it's about. This is what it's about, man. Like, even competitively between, you know, us. Like, in some capacity, it's like, you know, we all boxing. You know what I'm saying? We're all boxing.
Well, my brother, thank you for the hospitality. We'll see you in Paris next
All right,
time.
we will.
I'm sure.
We will be there.
Or perhaps
will.
London.
Either or.
London
Either
too.
or.
Let's make a week of it.
Tape London. We're on our
All
way.
right. Tape London, yes.
Oh, we got a residency there. We got a residency there.
Appreciate it, bro.
This is a Fast Financial Fact sponsored by Xfinity. This week's fact:
Estate planning, creating a will, setting up trust, and designing beneficiaries for your assets are essential.
For example, you can establish a trust that holds the life insurance payout and designates a trustee to manage the funds on behalf of your children until they reach a certain age, or achieve specific milestones such as graduating from college.
Assets over Liabilities is presented by Xfinity.